In the heart of Chicago, Illinois, lived a young man named Daniel, the younger of two sons in a deeply religious family. Daniel had grown up in a Christian home. His father, Thomas, was a devoted Christian who rarely missed church on Sundays. He prayed with his family, read the Bible regularly, and taught his two sons that faith should be at the center of their lives. But Daniel had always felt a special calling. From a young age, he dreamed of becoming a priest. He knew it was not an ordinary path. It meant giving up many of the things society expected from a young man: marriage, children, and the traditional family life his father had imagined for him. Daniel's older brother had already married. He and his wife had several daughters, but they had not had a son. Thomas loved his granddaughters, but deep inside, he desperately wanted a grandson. To him, a grandson meant more than just another child in the family. He believed a grandson would carry the family name into the next generation. So Thomas placed his hope in Daniel. "Your brother has already married," he would often tell him. "One day you will marry too. I want to hold my grandson before I die." Daniel would listen quietly. But in his heart, he knew his life was being called in another direction. One evening, Daniel made a decision that would change his life forever. Without his father's approval, he enrolled in the seminary. He knew his father would be angry, but he also believed that if he ignored the calling he felt from God, he would spend the rest of his life wondering what might have happened. For a while, Daniel kept the decision to himself, but eventually, Thomas discovered the truth. The news devastated him. "You enrolled in this seminary?" Daniel nodded. Thomas stared at his son in disbelief. "After everything I have done for you?" "Dad, I believe this is what God is calling me to do." Thomas became furious. "God?" he shouted. "What about your family? What about your responsibility to continue this family?" Daniel tried to explain, but his father would not listen. "You are no longer my son," Thomas said. Then he pointed toward the door. "Get out of my house." Daniel stood there with tears in his eyes. "Dad, get out." Daniel left. That night, the door closed behind him, and for the next 7 years, a painful silence grew between father and son. Thomas blamed everyone. He was angry with Daniel's mother because he believed she had known about Daniel's plans and had failed to tell him. "You knew," he accused her. He called her hurtful names and blamed her for what had happened. He even stopped going to church. The man who had once been known for his devotion to Christianity became bitter. Sometimes he would say, "God has punished me." He believed God had taken away the grandson he desperately wanted. Daniel, meanwhile, continued his journey. He studied, he prayed, he struggled, and eventually he became a priest. Despite everything, Daniel never stopped loving his father. He sent letters, he sent birthday greetings, he sent anniversary messages. Sometimes he simply wrote, "Dad, I love you. I hope you are well." But whenever Thomas recognized Daniel's handwriting, he would refuse to open the letter. He would return it unopened. 7 years passed, 7 birthdays, 7 Christmases, 7 years of silence, 7 years of bitterness. Whenever Daniel visited the family home, Thomas would look at him coldly. "Get out." Daniel would stand silently. "You are not my son." And Daniel would leave. He never fought back. He never insulted his father. He simply continued praying. Then one day, everything changed. Daniel received a phone call. It was his mother. Her voice trembled. "Daniel, your father is very sick." Daniel froze. "What happened?" She said, "He has been in a coma for 3 days. He can't eat, he can't speak, The doctors are very worried." Daniel did not hesitate. He immediately made arrangements to return home. When he arrived at the hospital, he walked quietly into his father's room. Thomas lay motionless on the bed. Machines surrounded him. His eyes were closed. Daniel stood beside him. For 7 years, he had dreamed of hearing his father call him son again. Now he wasn't sure if he would ever hear it. Daniel reached for his father's hand. "Dad," he whispered. Nothing happened. He leaned closer. "Dad, it's me, Daniel." For a moment, there was silence. Then something extraordinary happened. Thomas moved. His eyes slowly opened. Somehow, he had recognized his son's voice. The family members standing around the bed were shocked. Thomas looked toward the door and, with the little strength he had, motioned for everyone to leave. He wanted to be alone with Daniel. The room became quiet. Father and son looked at each other. For the first time in 7 years, there was no anger, no shouting, no accusations. Only two people who had lost 7 precious years. Thomas struggled to speak. "Son." Daniel's eyes immediately filled with tears. It was the first time in 7 years that his father had called him that. "Yes, Dad." Thomas began to cry. "I'm sorry." Daniel shook his head. "Don't." But Thomas continued. "I was wrong. I struggled to breathe between his words. I became an obstacle to your calling. I was angry because I wanted a grandson. I wanted you to live the life I had planned for you." Daniel held his father's hand tightly. Thomas continued, "But I forgot that your life was not mine to control." Tears rolled down Daniel's face. "Dad, I spent 7 years hating the son I should have been loving." Daniel leaned closer. Then he said something that his father never expected to hear. "Dad, I'm sorry too." Thomas looked at him. Daniel continued, "I'm sorry I couldn't give you the grandson you wanted." His father began crying harder. "But you gave me something greater," Thomas whispered. "What?" "A son who followed his calling." Daniel embraced his father. After 7 years of rejection, they finally held each other again. They cried, they kissed, they forgave one another, and for a brief moment, the anger of 7 years disappeared. Thomas rested his head against his son's shoulder. Then he whispered, "Thank you for coming home, son." Those were his final words. Moments later, Thomas took his last breath. Daniel held him tightly and cried. The father who had spent 7 years refusing to call him his son had finally called him son one last time. And Daniel realized something that would stay with him for the rest of his life. Sometimes we spend years fighting for the things we think will make our family happy, only to discover that love was what mattered most all along. Thomas had wanted a grandson to continue his lineage, but in the end, his greatest legacy was not a grandson. It was the love he rediscovered with his son before it was too late. And Daniel carried that lesson into his priesthood. Never allow pride, expectations, or anger to destroy the people you love. Because sometimes, the person you push away today may be the person you desperately wish you had beside you tomorrow. And sometimes, forgiveness comes just in time. But sometimes, it comes only once.